From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and here are your headlines on this October the 7th. Flu season is now underway, and flu shots are available to protect you and your family. Working for you this morning, our Kelsey Anderson shows you where you can get vaccinated today.
High interest in the election is behind these long lines. Hoosiers are early voting. This morning, all of your options before November 3rd.
And a local program supporting single moms is now growing. The resources they're offering to give those in need a helping hand this morning.
And it is 5 o'clock. Thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. Rafael, good morning to you down there in Johnson County. We have a special guest joining us today on the show. I haven't seen him in a while in person.
Good morning.
It is always great. It is always great to see Kyle Mounds. When I see Kyle, I think of the weekends, right? Because Kyle is part of our amazing weekend team. So I know that the weekend is coming closer, though it's only Wednesday, Kyle. But I'm sure you have great news on this day.
Hey, we do. We've got some very warm temperatures, much warmer since last week when I was here, when we started off with temperatures in the 30s or about 20 degrees warmer. We're at 55 right now in Indianapolis, 58 in Lafayette, and around 60 degrees with those clear skies in Bloomington. A little bit of a southwest breeze. That'll be our biggest issue out there this morning, but certainly nothing we can't handle. As we look at the big picture here, satellite and radar, look at how quiet things are. There's some rain up across portions of Wisconsin, Michigan. That will stay north of us. We've got this area of high pressure bringing in that southwest flow this morning before a cold front moves in, and that will provide some more mild temperatures today. We're in the 60s at 10 a.m. We are going to approach 80 degrees this afternoon with sunny skies. Lauren?
All right, Kyle, thank you. We're taking a close look at traffic this morning. So you're heading out there this Wednesday. This is I-465 near the Sam Jones Expressway on the west side of town, where you can see traffic is moving along up to speed right now. I'm not monitoring any crashes around the metro area or any issues around central Indiana that'll really slow down your commute, so that is good news. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. At 5:02, Rafael, there's a call for people to get their flu shot this season to avoid any confusion with those COVID-19 symptoms.
WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning and she's focused on protecting you and your family against the flu. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So if you're in need of a flu shot still, you are in luck, because the Marion County Health Department, they are hosting flu shot clinics throughout the month of October. One happening today at Old Bethel United Methodist Church. So it goes from 9 to noon, and flu shots, they're through the health department, they're just $20, and children younger than 2 years old, they get vaccinated for free. Medicare and Medicaid are accepted, and health experts say that getting your flu vaccine is even more important this year to help avoid the possibility of hospitals getting overwhelmed with flu and COVID-19 patients.
We are entering our flu season, and so we're urging all Indianapolis residents to sleeve up and get their flu shot. I'm just so grateful you did.
Now, this clinic is available on a walk-in basis, and of course you must maintain social distancing, and face coverings are required while you are here at this flu shot clinic. Now, and if you can't make it today, there are other opportunities throughout the month of October. On October 18th and October 22nd, we've got more information on those dates available for you over on WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Long lines outside of polling locations show early voting numbers could break records this election season. Early voting opened here in Indiana yesterday with more than 1,200 people voting right here in Marion County. The U.S. Elections Project reports that more than 3.8 million Americans have already cast their ballot. At this time in 2016, that number was only 75,000. Now, the increase also comes with many states expanding early voting and mail-in voting options amid this pandemic, making it more accessible.
Lord, a new study out of Indiana University raising concerns with paperless ballot voting machines now used in 52 counties. Indiana is one of 8 states that will use paperless voting machines this election. The IU Policy Institute says those older paperless voting machines could pose security risks in the upcoming election. The newer machines use a combination of electronic touchscreen technology, which then produces a paper printout to verify your vote, should it need to be cross-referenced. The older machines do not print the ballot. That means if there is a glitch or possibly a hack, there would be no way of knowing.
It could be detrimental, like, because we wouldn't know if our election has been tampered with, there has been any malfunction. There would be no way for us to know. And without a paper trail, we couldn't even cross-check.
It's too late to make any changes for this election. Last year, a federal lawsuit was filed to replace paperless voting machines. There was also a law passed last year requiring all Indiana counties to move to paper trail voting systems by the year 2030. IU's Public Policy Institute says the best things counties can do now is inspect the machines before and after the election.
At 5:05, Vice President Mike Pence and Second Lady Karen Pence have announced they'll travel to Indianapolis on Friday to cast their ballots early. Details about the visit have not been released, but the White House says it's going to be a quick trip for the Pences as they'll return to D.C. later that evening.
A big night in politics as the vice presidential candidates debate tonight in Salt Lake City. WRTV's political insiders, Democrat Kip Tu and Republican Joey Fox, weigh in on the debate that's coming up tonight.
Will this debate have significance?
I can't imagine that it's going to have a huge swing. I think they need to come out. They need to represent the number ones on their ticket, and they need to go back to campaigning, getting their bases out to vote.
So vice presidential debates really don't end up having that much effect on the race. It could be different this year based upon what might happen and based upon what might happen to the president and his illness.
Joey Fox, does VP Pence have the edge here? He's been here before. He had a debate against Tim Kaine in the last cycle.
The problem here for the Democratic Party is that there's already a narrative that's kind of well established that the Vice President Biden is not necessarily going to be the one running his government, that you're going to have a group of further left people, including Senator Harris, really kind of pulling the proverbial strings in government. And so that's a lot of what people are going to watch for, certainly from the right.
It's a silly argument to make. I think Mike Pence does come in with the advantage in this debate, and the biggest reason for the advantage is to be charitable. This administration has a casual relationship with the truth, and it's always easier to debate when you don't have any parameters on what you're going to say that may or may not be truthful, and the ability to fact check these people because they're lying so frequently and so often, it's difficult to even keep up.
We'll see what happens. Our political insiders, thank you so much. And our Democracy 2020 coverage continues right now on WRTV.com.
This morning, we want to take you to Madison County. An Anderson police officer seen on video appearing to use improper force is now returning back to work. The city's Board of Public Safety has cleared Officer Brandon Reynolds of any wrongdoing. The board ruled that Reynolds did not violate the police department's code of conduct and did not use improper force during an arrest back in June. The other officer on the scene was already cleared in the investigation.
A program helping moms in Madison County is now growing. Mommy Movement Incorporated is a nonprofit agency in Anderson that's dedicated to supporting women in a variety of ways. Marcia Thompson started this organization last year after seeing the need in that community. Resources include a food pantry, clothing closet, and job assistance. Thompson says she knows what it's like to be a struggling single mom.
Single mother myself. My children's father died when my son was 1.5 years old. So, at that point, it was very hard. You didn't know how do you continue on with life with no father for your children, no matter the situation that you are in.
Well, Thompson hopes to open an emergency shelter in the future. For more information about the Mommy Movement Incorporated, go to WRTV.com and click on this story.
Lauren, Halloween season kicks off at the Indianapolis Zoo today, and Zoo-Boo, as it's known, will include some games, rides, trick-or-treating, and animal demonstrations, and much more there at the zoo. While most activities are family-friendly, there's something new this year as well for adults. Guests 21 and older can take a trick-or-treat trail that includes free beverage sampling. That sounds interesting. That will be open on Fridays and Saturdays. Zoo-Boo overall will be open Wednesdays through Sundays until November the 1st. The event begins at 2 p.m. And word on the street is that Kyle Mounts offers the best candy on Halloween. So make sure that if you know where Kyle lives, to go to his home. He has a lot of good candy. But in the meantime, Kyle, how about the forecast on this Wednesday?
I got some good forecasts. That's certainly a treat for us here lately as those temperatures are going to be warming up. It has been dry. And while that's been nice, we could use a rainy day. It continues to be record-setting dry now. We've had 49 days with 1/10 of an inch of rain or less. There you can see the top three. Once we get back to 2012, we had 47 days. Today, we'll add another one. It'll make it 50 days in a row with sunshine, temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. And tonight, those clear skies, ideal viewing for the International Space Station. That happens at 7:48 this evening. Look in the northwest horizon. It will climb pretty high there, 85 degrees, disappearing 6 minutes later into the southeast. A great show to check out later tonight. Lauren?
All right, Kyle, thank you. Indiana seeing the most new COVID-19 deaths since June. Coming up, the number is spiking in the Hoosier State.
And here's a live look near Cancun, Mexico, where Hurricane Delta is making landfall this morning. That storm packing strong winds and rain. The latest on Delta and when it's likely to hit parts of the United States coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana. Good morning on this Wednesday, and now to the latest on COVID-19. Indiana is now seeing an increase in the number of deaths related to the coronavirus. The State Department of Health reports 30 new deaths across our state. That's the highest number of new COVID-19 deaths since June the 6th, when the state confirmed 32 deaths. A total number of 3,484 Hoosiers have died since the pandemic began. 990 new cases of the virus were also confirmed on Tuesday. Nearly 127,000 total cases have been reported so far in Indiana.
Well, Raphael, several Pentagon officials are quarantining right now after a top Defense Department official tested positive for COVID-19. Officials say the vice commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, Admiral Charles Ray, learned that he was infected, and he had been to several meetings at the Pentagon recently. A number of people had been tested, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Army General Mark Milley, who tested negative so far. He's now quarantining as a precaution. The chiefs of the Air Force, Navy, and Space Operations are also being tested and are under quarantine.
White House tried blocking new vaccine safety guidelines from the FDA. The agency has pushed forward and now published them. The FDA now says that coronavirus vaccine candidates should follow trial participants for 2 months after they receive the experimental shot. The FDA says this should rule out any major side effects before it grants emergency approval to a company. This will likely make it impossible for any vaccine developer to get approval before Election Day, something the Trump administration has been pushing for now for several weeks.
At 5:15, thousands of Americans are taking shelter in Cancun as one of the biggest storms ever to hit the region slams the shore. Hurricane Delta now reaching a Category 4 storm. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the latest.
Overnight, thousands of tourists trapped in the bullseye as Hurricane Delta bears down on Cancun.
We're just trying to get out of here.
The powerful storm catching vacationers off guard. Airports packed as travelers scrambled to get out. Officials in Cancun clearing out more than 30,000 people staying in hotels along the coast. Many were moved to these makeshift shelters inland.
Never been into a hurricane area.
Along the entire coastline, heavy rain, high winds, and dangerous storm surge slamming beaches. And now,
I am issuing a mandatory evacuation for all tourists and visitors who are currently visiting or planning to visit our coastal communities.
Alabama and Louisiana declaring states of emergency, some evacuations already underway.
This storm is already proving to be a much stronger storm than Sally.
Delta is set to make its way up to the Gulf Coast later this week, hitting the Louisiana and Mississippi coast as a Category 2 storm late Friday into Saturday, possibly slamming the same areas recently devastated by Hurricanes Laura and Sally. These floodgates in Morgan City, Louisiana, being closed. Flood barriers also set up in New Iberia.
anyone from Port Arthur and Beaumont over to, I'd say, right along the Alabama state line needs to be on the lookout.
Weary officials near New Orleans even posting this sign, asking the famous storm chaser Jim Cantore to stay home. I'm Andrea Fujii, ABC News.
And later this morning, Good Morning America reporter Victor Oquendo is live from Mexico City as Hurricane Delta makes landfall. Again, that's coming up right here on GMA. Back here at home, though, Kyle Mounts joins us in studio to take a look at our forecast for this Wednesday. This is the warmer day, Kyle.
Yeah, we've got some sunshine to go along with that warmth today, so things are going to stay fairly quiet once again in our weather. Temperatures this morning approaching 60 degrees. You're at 59 in Bloomington, 58 in Lafayette, middle 50s right now in Indy and Martinsville, and Richmond at 52 degrees. With that sunshine and a southwest breeze, temperatures will really take off this morning. We're already into the lower 70s for your lunch hour. We'll continue with sunshine here into the afternoon, and those temperatures will be right around 80 for that afternoon high, so a little more than 10 degrees above average. A nice little change after that chilly start we had earlier in the week. Temperatures this afternoon, 83 for you in Bloomington and Columbus, Muncie at 80, same for you in the Lafayette area. 77 degrees in Peru, because we are going to be having a cold front that moves in from the northwest. Just no moisture for it to work with to produce any showers. But you can see ahead of that front, we're going to have those winds this morning out of the southwest gusting over 20 miles per hour. So a little breezy here, and as we go through the day, we start to see those winds turn west and eventually northwest. Still going to be a little breezy here as we get into this evening and tonight. We'll have some of those gusts around 15 miles per hour. Certainly manageable for us. But as we look at the Thursday forecast, it's cooler, but it is still above average here. A good deal of sunshine. Temperatures will be back into the 40s tomorrow morning, but not by much at 49. 74 the afternoon high with sunshine. All right, let's take you back down toward the Yucatan and show you this is Hurricane Delta. And there you can see the satellite picture as it is raking across the Yucatan Peninsula this morning, eventually moving into the Gulf Coast and portions of the Mid-South. It may be coming far enough north to bring some rain to central Indiana. As we go into Saturday, just a slight chance of a shower for southern areas around Bedford and Seymour. As we get through the day on Sunday, though, a lot of the models are bringing this, or at least some of them anyway, bringing some of that rain here into the Hoosier State and potentially about a ½ inch of rain. But look at the sharp cutoff here right now. We're seeing only about a 1/10 of an inch as we get toward Lafayette and Peru. And this track is certainly going to be shifting, and something we'll watch for you here as we go into the upcoming weekend. Today, though, sunshine, 81, middle 70s with mostly sunny skies tomorrow. We're back around 80 there on Friday before that system from the tropics gets a little bit closer here for the weekend. Chance of showers Sunday and 72. We'll keep a chance of showers going into Monday as well. Those highs, though, not bad for this time of year in the lower to middle 70s. Lauren.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much. Here's a look at your commute right now through Hamilton County. Good morning to you here for driving through Fishers, I-69, a view at 116th Street where traffic is traveling up to speed, both northbound and southbound on your interstate. Not monitoring any crashes to slow you down in this area, but of course, we'll keep you updated. Raphael?
Lauren, if you are a Comcast customer, you may be getting a refund on your Xfinity cable bill, and here's why. Comcast says it's working to give refunds to customers who paid the regional sports network fee this year. The company says Xfinity cable customers were being unfairly charged for sports packages when sports, as you know, were canceled because of the pandemic. Now, Comcast notified many impacted customers over email on Tuesday, telling them to look out for a courtesy adjustment. For many TV sports fans, the rate reduction may only amount to a $4 to $5 refund.
Well, Petco is pulling electric shock collars from its stores and online. The pet store has also signed a petition to have the collars regulated and only used by certified training professionals. Shock collars are supposed to serve as a training tool for pet owners. It works by sending an electric pulse to animals as a warning against certain behaviors. Animal rights activists argue that the collars cause animals pain and distress. Shock collars accounted for roughly $10 million of Petco sales in 2019.
There is something hiding behind Apple's mask emoji. Guess what it is? It's a smile. Apple has reportedly redesigned its mask-wearing emoji. It now matches its current smiling face emoji with the eyebrows and rosy cheeks, in case you were wondering. Before, the masked emoji used to have a more sad look. The tech company has not said why it made the change, but the new happier version is expected to be available with the Apple's iOS 14.2 release. There you have it. A nice smile behind the emoji. So this guy is smiling a whole lot. He got a big surprise while flipping a home, the treasure that he uncovered right after the break, right here on WRTV.
Welcome back, Raphael. Lots of surprises can be found when flipping a home, but a man doing renovation in Chicago was not expecting the treasure that he found.
So, Lauren, this has me looking around the living room just in case,
Right.
so I may have to see you at 6:30. But in the meantime, Jim Dow says he's flipped more than 50 homes and bought this old home to do the same. As he went through the living room, he found thousands of dollars in cash. In fact, 5 envelopes hidden behind the couch and even one behind an old picture. The total amount that he found, $10,000.
Kind of surreal. I thought it might be like being on some kind of reality TV show.
Wow, I'm gonna keep looking around my house. Once the shock wore off, Dow contacted the former owner and her family to return all that money. They were thrilled and thanked Dow for his kindness and integrity. Our Kyle Mounts has a lot of kindness and integrity, but on this day, he's going to be known for the sunshine and the warm weather, Kyle.
Yeah, hey, you know, there are worse things in the weather world. We've got some nice weather, though, continuing to come our way. More sunshine in your Wednesday forecast, and those temperatures getting into the lower 80s this afternoon. There's that average high in the upper 60s now as it continues to get a little bit cooler. Will be a little breezy, though, as we go through time. Look at this. Above average temperatures as we go right on into the upcoming weekend here. And even as we go into next week, we get a little closer to average, but still not bad. We're talking about highs that are going to be in the lower to middle 70s for us. And even as we look past the middle of October to about the 20th, looks like we will have those temperatures holding right about where they should be. Stay with us. We got much more coming your way here on Good Morning Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Get your flu shot. That's the message from health officials concerned over a possible twindemic. Now at 5:30, where you can get vaccinated for a low cost today.
And early voting now underway in the Hoosier State, working for you. We take a look at all the safety measures polling stations are putting into place to keep you healthy and to keep the workers healthy as well. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. It is now the middle of the week. It is Wednesday, October the 7th. I'm Rafael Sanchez from your official living room here in Johnson County. Of course, my good friends are in Studio A. Good morning to you on this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, Rafael, good morning to you. I don't know if you've stepped outside yet down there in Franklin, but it is a little bit warmer today. Kyle, what can we expect for this midweek forecast?
Yeah, as you step outside your door from your living room this morning, maybe either heading to work, letting out the dog, getting in that morning workout here, it's not as cool. Temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, and that puts us in the 50s, even close to 60 degrees right now in Muncie and Bloomington. It is 55 in Indianapolis. You see there are some showers up across Michigan, stretching back into Wisconsin. That's associated with a cold front. We will get the front. We will not get the showers, though, before that system moves in. As far as a cool down for us, we're going to warm things up today. Kids heading off to the bus stop this morning. No need for the umbrella here. We've got 55 degrees. Might want to have the jacket, but can probably do without it. And then as we go into this afternoon, sunshine, those temperatures unseasonably mild as we approach 80 degrees. Lauren has a check on your morning traffic.
And Kyle, things are pretty quiet right now, so that is good news if you're heading out to work early this morning on this Wednesday. This is I-465 at US 31 up on the north side. So if you're traveling on the northern parts of Marion County, maybe Hamilton County or Boone County this morning, you shouldn't have any problems here on 465. You can see traffic's traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. We'll keep you updated on any crashes or delays. Raphael?
Lauren, this morning, state health officials reported a spike in the number of COVID-19 deaths in our state. 30 additional Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. That's the highest number of new COVID-19 deaths since back on June the 6th, when the state confirmed 32 deaths. So far, 3,484 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. State health officials also confirmed 990 new cases of coronavirus. That brings the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 to 126,946 cases. We expect an update from the state health department officials later this afternoon. We're also keeping a close eye on the state's hospital resources, of course, as the flu season gets underway. Health officials have voiced concern over a possible twindemic with influenza cases and COVID-19. Right now, we remain in good shape with more than 80% of ventilators available. Just over 3.5% are being used by COVID patients. Around 36% of the state's ICU beds, they remain available. Just under 15% are being used by COVID patients here in our state. On this Wednesday, it is a call now at this moment to protect your health.
And WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with where you can get a flu shot. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So now more than ever, health officials are urging everyone to get a flu shot. And today at Old Bethel United Methodist Church, you can get that flu shot for a very discounted rate. And they're doing this in hopes of keeping everyone healthy and hospital beds empty. So today, the Marion County Public Health Department is offering a walk-in clinic at Old Bethel Church. It goes from 9 to noon, and flu shots through the health department are just $20. And children younger than 2 years old get vaccinated for free. Now, Medicare and Medicaid are accepted, and health experts say getting a flu vaccine is even more important this year to help avoid the possibility of hospitals getting overwhelmed with flu and COVID patients.
So understand the double whammy we will see with both the flu and COVID-19 if we are not able to address this now.
Now, this clinic is available on a walk-in basis, and of course, you must maintain social distancing and face coverings are required. Again, make sure you're wearing those loose-fitting clothing, that way you can roll up your sleeve very easily to get that flu shot administered. Now, if you can't make it today, there are other opportunities in the month of October to get these flu shots through the health department. One happening on October 18th, the other on October 22nd. For more information on those dates, head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. The time right now is 5:35. We are now 27 days away from the 2020 general election. And tonight, Vice President Mike Pence will face off against Senator Kamala Harris. It will be their first and only debate. This morning, we're getting some insight on how the two are preparing for tonight's matchup. Senator Harris shared some of her strategy on Hillary Clinton's podcast, while Pence briefly spoke to reporters after arriving in Salt Lake City.
I guess the biggest thing, just to be candid with you, is to be prepared for what is, I think, very likely to be a series of untruths.
We're looking very much forward to the vice presidential debate. The stakes in this election have never been higher.
Well, tonight's debate will include some last-minute safety changes in light of President Trump's COVID diagnosis and the outbreak linked to the White House. The candidates will now be seated at least 12 feet apart, and the Commission of the Presidential Debates is honoring Harris's request for plexiglass. You can watch the vice presidential debate tonight right here on WRTV. Our coverage starts at 8 o'clock.
Our Democracy 2020 coverage continues now, Lauren. As we get closer to the general election on November the 3rd, we're highlighting some of the key races right here in central Indiana. Indiana's 5th congressional race, and that seat is open. That district covers parts of Marion County, Hamilton County, and part of Boone County, Madison, Tipton, Grant, and Blackford counties. We sat down with Democratic nominee Christina Hale, who's running for that seat. Now, Hale is a former member of the Indiana House of Representatives. She also worked for the State Department of Commerce and Kiwanis International. She says she's running for Congress to be a problem solver in the nation's capital.
Every single bill I've ever worked on and passed had a Republican partner working with me.
You can see our full interview with Christina Hale online right now at WRTV.com. And tonight on the news at 6, we take a closer look at the Libertarian candidate. His name is Ken Tucker's campaign. Also on the ballot for Indiana's 5th Congressional District is Republican Victoria Spartz.
At 5:37, early voting is underway right now in the state of Indiana, and this year voting in person looks a little bit different due to the pandemic. We went inside the city county building to show you what's being done to help keep you safe. There are clear dividers between the poll workers and the voters. Poll workers go around and they wipe off the voting machines after every use. Every voter must wear a mask. However, when you're in line, there's no markers showing where you should stand, so it's up to you and the people around you to make sure there's social distancing while in line. And if you can't vote in person and you want to take part in absentee voting by mail, you should file an application for a ballot immediately. The deadline to turn in your ballot application is October 22nd. As long as it's postmarked on or before Election Day, November 3rd, and received by the election office in your county by November 13th, your absentee ballot will be counted. Now, we have a complete guide to the November general election. It's up on our website, WRTV.com. It includes all the dates, all the rules that you need to know. Again, go to WRTV.com/vote in 2020.
A big honor for an NBA star and hometown guy, an Indy native, George Hill. He was named the recipient of the end-of-season NBA Cares Community Assist Award, which is a big honor. The award recognizes a player's commitment to positively impact their communities. Hill and his Milwaukee Bucks teammates helped encourage others in the NBA to use their platforms to advance social justice causes. Hill and the Bucks elected not to play during their first round playoff game, as you may recall, following several high-profile police shootings involving African Americans. Hill also partnered with community leaders in Indianapolis to open the Him by Her School for the Arts on the East Side this year. A good guy, a hometown guy. Congratulations to George Hill. Our Kyle Mounts now joins us with a slam dunk of a forecast. Good morning, Kyle.
And good morning to you, Raphael. Yeah, we are going to continue to add on to our very dry stretch of weather. It's now been 49 full days since we've had at least 1/10 of an inch of rain in the rain gauge. Today will make number 50 as we are going to enjoy a lot of sunshine here as we look at the next few days. More dry weather coming our way. Our high today, 81 degrees. We'll have a front that moves through today. Not going to see any rainfall with it. Brings in slightly cooler, but still above average temperatures for tomorrow at 74. And look at this. For our finally Friday, we're going to rebound nicely with those highs around 80 degrees once again. All these clear skies making it very nice for checking out the International Space Station flying overhead this evening. That starts at 7:48 this evening, low in the northwest horizon. It's going to climb at 85 degrees and last about 6 minutes here. You'll see that bright light shooting across the sky. Pretty interesting show if you can check it out.
Kyle, thank you so much. Efforts to help Hoosiers with financial relief, it all comes to a stop. Straight ahead, why President Trump says no deal on a key negotiation.
And experts have had to come up with a new name for California's largest wildfire in state history just after the break. What this new classification means. It's 5:40. Stick around. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic for you just after the break. Welcome back. It is 5:44 and we are following breaking news at this hour. Police are investigating after a homicide after a shooting that happened overnight. We're told that a victim walked into the hospital around 12:30 this morning with gunshot wounds. That victim later dying at the hospital. Investigators believe the shooting happened at a different location, but so far police have not been able to find a crime scene. So if you have any information on this case, police say you should call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIP. At 5:44, President Trump has slammed the brakes on stimulus talks. This as many American households are still struggling financially during the pandemic. Just one day after leaving the hospital being treated for the coronavirus, the president blasted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Democrats and says he's ordered his representatives to stop negotiating until after the election. The announcement rocked Wall Street, causing both the Dow and the S&P to tumble. And this morning, there's some concerns from the airline and restaurant industries as prospects of more furloughs and layoffs may come if the U.S. can't get the pandemic under control.
One such risk is that COVID-19 cases might again rise to levels that more significantly limit economic activity. not to mention the tragic effects on lives and well-being.
In response to the president's announcement, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden issued a statement saying the decision to cut off stimulus talks means, quote, there will be no help from Washington for the foreseeable future, end quote.
As you know, WRTV is here to help you and connect you with available jobs in real time. It's the focus of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative. So let's get right to it. Second Helpings in Indianapolis looking for someone to be their manager of volunteer services. You would recruit, screen, select, and provide volunteer orientation. Second Helpings works to address hunger and poverty right here in central Indiana by rescuing prepared food that would otherwise get thrown out. The organization also runs a culinary job training program. Belta Logics in Plainfield needs a repair technician. You would be responsible for repairing printers and scanners and many other computer-related items. T-Rex Expedited Delivery is hiring for a delivery driver. You'll be delivering out of the Amazon facility in Greenwood in Johnson County. The pay is $15.25 an hour. You can learn about these jobs and many more positions right now on the job board at hiringhoosiers.com.
Back to Washington now. Another member of President Trump's team tested positive for the coronavirus. Senior advisor Stephen Miller is the latest person in the White House to contract COVID-19. Miller announced on Tuesday that he'd been self-isolating and working remotely for the past 5 days, and he tested negative each day. But after the positive test, he went into quarantine. At least 10 other people in the White House have tested positive in recent days, along with President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. The list includes presidential counselor Hope Hicks, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, and 4 other press aides.
The 2 men accused of being part of the ISIS group known as the Beatles are expected to be charged and transferred from Iraq to the United States. The men allegedly helped torment and execute Western journalists and humanitarian workers, including Indiana native Abdul Rahman Peter Kasich in Syria 6 years ago. Their expected transfer comes after more than 2 years of negotiations between the UK and the US governments. The impasse was finally resolved when Attorney General William Barr promised to take the death penalty off the table. It is not immediately clear what specific charges those men will face.
To California now, where the August complex fire is now the largest in state history, and it's earned the special designation of a gigafire. A gigafire is one that burns more than 1 million acres. The August complex is California's first in this category. The term gigafire is the next step above what experts call a megafire, which burns 100,000 acres. But the August complex wildfire is not the first gigafire in the U.S. Previous fires in Alaska, Montana, and Idaho have scorched more than 1 million acres before. The world saw another gigafire as well in Australia, where 1.5 million acres burned earlier this year.
Lord, this morning, tourists and residents are being evacuated from Mexico and Cancun as Hurricane Delta makes its way to the Yucatan Peninsula. The storm is the second strongest of the year in the Atlantic Basin, with winds estimated to be at 120 miles per hour. It is expected to make landfall this morning, according to the National Hurricane Center. The Mexican state of Tabasco is already dealing with flooding left behind by Tropical Depression Gamma last weekend. This morning, states along the U.S. Gulf Coast, they're keeping a close eye on Delta as it could turn toward Louisiana and Alabama in the coming days. And Kyle, it seems like the U.S. Gulf Coast has not gotten much of a break this summer and fall. I mean, these storms just keep coming and coming and coming.
Yeah, it has been very active with 25 named storms, Raphael. And here's the latest on Delta, still a Category 3 storm with 115-mile-per-hour winds. There, it could become a Category 4 before making landfall here. And then as we go into the upcoming weekend, we see the remnants of it moving across portions of Tennessee and Kentucky, possibly close enough to bringing us some rainfall here in central Indiana. We jump ahead with TrueCast to 9 o'clock Saturday night. During the day on Saturday and into the evening, we may see a couple of showers in southern locations, but as we go into the day on Sunday, models bring in a few more showers here, generally some light rain, and still a lot of question in the track of this thing. But right now, things remaining all quiet here across central Indiana. We've got high pressure in control. Going to be a cold front that slides through here later today. Temperature 55 degrees for us, 58 for you in Kokomo. Not bad in Muncie at 59, even the lower 50s in Shelbyville. Got a southwest breeze out there this morning. That's that warm direction around 10 miles miles per hour, even between 10 and 15 miles per hour for you in Kokomo this morning. And it will stay a little breezy here as we go through the day. As we look at that wind forecast here, the gusts occasionally between about 20 and 25 miles per hour. And that will kind of continue into the early afternoon. Also notice those winds start to turn out of a more northerly direction here once that cold front does move through. Still, though, temperatures will be on the warm side this afternoon. For this time of year, we're going to make it into the lower 70s here for your lunch hour, and we'll get around 80 degrees for that afternoon high. Average high, 69. It continues to slip and get a little bit cooler here. But this afternoon, we will be most areas in the lower half of the 80s. 83 for you in Bloomington, 83 in Columbus, no jacket needed. And as we get into the Peru area, 77 as that cold front will be moving through a little bit earlier for you. Thursday does bring in some of that cooler air, but we use that term relatively because it's still going to be above that average high as we are in the middle 70s, and we are expecting more dry weather with lots of sunshine. Putting it all together now in that 7-day planning forecast, we're back around 80 degrees for you on Friday with mostly sunny skies. Into the weekend, 77 on Saturday. Most areas will stay dry there. Just a 30% chance of showers as we get into the second half of the weekend, and highs still in the 70s into next week. Lauren, our weather is quiet. How are things on the roads?
Very quiet, Kyle. Here's a look right now at traffic on the south side, I-465 at State Road 37. This is the Harding Street exit where you can see traffic's traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound there on your interstate. No problems on the on-ramps or off-ramps there as well. So it is good news if you're a driver in Johnson County, Morgan County, and use State Road 37 to get into Indianapolis. It should be smooth sailing. Raphael?
So Lauren, new this morning, a renewed push to break up some of the country's biggest and most popular tech companies. I'm talking about Facebook and Google, Amazon and Apple. They've been under scrutiny over several issues, including competition, consumer privacy, and hate speech. Lawmakers want to make it harder for them to buy other companies, and as well as putting in new rules to place and protect competitors. The tech giants have been the target of a congressional investigation for the past 15 months.
Some good news now for employees this morning. You may still see a pay raise next year despite this pandemic. An employment advisory firm conducted a survey of more than 700 U.S. companies. They found half of the companies are sticking with their original salary hike targets. 35% plan to cut pay raise projections, but they're not getting rid of pay raises. But 10% of the companies in the survey did say no pay increases next year. So how much can you expect? The survey found on average companies expect to raise salaries for non-executives by 2.6%. Executives will see an estimated 2.5% hike. As for bonuses, 66% of the companies plan to still offer those, but they will most likely go to executives and those in management.
So, Lauren, let me raise a question this morning. Is planet Earth the best place to call home? Think about it, because coming up, where scientists say could be a better place for all of us to live. That story and much more coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana.
Welcome back. Well, put away your We're Number One flags. Researchers say when it comes to the rest of the universe, Earth is not necessarily the best planet. What is that, Raphael?
So work with me here, because according to a new study, scientists have found nearly 24 planets outside of the solar system that may be better for life. I'm going to stay right here, by the way. But here we go. They're labeled, these planets are labeled super habitable. Okay, some of the planets are older, a little larger, and slightly warmer than Earth. Some orbit stars that change slowly and have longer lifespans than our sun. Researchers say because of those conditions, life could thrive more easily on those planets. The top 24 contenders for super habitable planets are located, just nearby, just by Kokomo, maybe, I don't know, Lebanon, more than 100 light years away. Nowhere near close, Lauren, but why leave Earth when when our Kyle Mounds has an amazing forecast on
Right?
this Wednesday.
Yeah, you know, I think we're doing something right. We're here, right? We're doing okay. And in the weather department as well, look at the mild stretch of weather. There's the average high, upper 60s. We are going to be above that here right through the upcoming weekend and most likely into next week. So let's focus in on that weekend, making those plans. Saturday looks pretty good here. Partly sunny, 77 will be your afternoon high. Just an isolated shower for southern locations, few more showers going into Sunday, and 72 degrees for us. It is 5:58 here on your Wednesday morning. Don't go anywhere. We have another full hour of news, traffic, and weather coming your way on Good Morning Indiana.